Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, I'm going to go to A&E today. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who it's going to be.
Paediatric trauma call, 15 minutes.
Code red, helipad response.
You're having a heart attack.
We want to be in and out of scan in the next 10 minutes.
I can't feel any pulse.
Any reception, can I help you? Yeah, 24 hours, 7 days a week. I love that question. What's your opening hours?
St George's, London, one of the busiest and most advanced A&E departments in the world.
Beautiful. It's as if we've done it before.
We are there when awful things happen to pick up the pieces.
We have a 2-year-old who's kicked like a horse.
We see the unpredictableness of what happens in life, and we're suddenly having to explain why it's gone wrong.
I can't feel my left leg.
You'll be okay.
A place where life
Amy, selfie!
Down below. Too slow.
love
Such a big boy. So proud of you.
and loss
I'm still here.
unfold every single day.
So we don't shake hands at this hospital, we fist bump. Can I have a fist bump?
All the patients you're about to see were treated in just one 24-hour period.
Hello, darling.
You genuinely do see the best of people in this job. You'll see strangers rushing to the aid of someone they've never met. You just see things that make you realise just how important the people in your life are and the people around you are.
Well done.
Oh.
Amy, selfie!
Do you remember when I did my thumb? Oh, yeah. That was when it was okay. That was okay. That was okay.
I don't want to see it.
That was when it was bad.
Oh my god. No. Please. This looks horrible. It's disgusting.
What about that one?
Oof.
That was pain like I've never felt.
I think that's the chest and the pelvis. So if you could put that on, yeah, let's do that now.
In charge of resus today is consultant Reese.
Well, hi, you the boss.
Yes. Hi. Hi. I'm Julie.
Hi, I'm Reese. We've worked together.
Yeah, well, from a
Ish.
distance.
From a distance. I love that song. My background is coming from a small village in South Wales. I was the child that wanted to work out everything. I needed to know exactly how everything worked. Shoulder and humerus and elbow. I couldn't just watch magic and be like, okay, that's a trick. And they're just manipulating things. And I suppose I just wanted to know exactly what was going on. And maybe that's why I entered the study of the body. What's the error here? And he's got his belt and his mobile phone and his keys and his coins. We'll repeat that, I think.
St George's Resus, medical trauma.
An 89-year-old male is being brought from his home, suffering with acute abdominal pain.
What's coming in?
AAA. Query AAA.
Where are they going?
AAA and 4.
Do you want to just get the scanner for me, Carrie? A AAA is an aortic abdominal aneurysm. The aorta is the big vessel that runs from the heart. Should we have a pat slide? I just want to take him gently, because if we are thinking that it's an aneurysm, we want to be gentle with him. And if it ruptures, then you can bleed out into your tummy and lose your whole blood volume within a matter of minutes.
On 3 then. 1, 2. Stay there, Sir John. Relax, relax.
Lovely. Well done, guys.
This is Sir John.
Sir John?
89-year-old male.
Okay.
He's been found out at home in a collapsed state, but in his bed. He's complaining of this acute diffuse abdo pain.
Yeah.
And also
Back pain?
back pain.
He is.
Yeah. Pain scoring at 10.
And he is Sir John.
He's Sir John.
Sir John.
Yes.
My name's Reese. I'm one of the doctors.
Okay, right.
Tell me when this pain started in your abdomen.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And does it go through to your back?
It is a bit on my back.
I'm going to be gentle, Sir John. Very resonant, isn't it? We're going to move you to do a scan in a minute to look at your abdomen in more detail to see if this is an aneurysm that's causing the pain. Okay.
Hello, John. I've just checked your
Lactic acidosis.
It was a bit of a surprise, my father being ill, because I spoke to him. He was fine. He was absolutely his normal self. My wife spoke to him and told him we were coming up in the evening. He was expecting us.
OK, John, I'm going to ask you to take that deep breath in a minute, all right?
When we arrived, we found him in bed. He wasn't around, and we thought that's a bit odd.
He needs to be imaged. I think let's do the abdomen. And we'll see if he's got an aneurysm on his abdomen, then we do an aortogram. If that aneurysm has ruptured, then yeah, a lot of people don't even arrive in hospital alive with that situation.
Hello, sir.
What one?
Hello. We're going to do a scan of your abdomen and chest, okay?
We're giving him some fluid.
89-year-old John is being scanned.
Thank you. Cheers.
Doctors are awaiting the results.
Slide. There we go.
They suspect he has a potentially fatal abdominal aneurysm, a swollen blood vessel that can rupture and bleed out in minutes.
Just going to have a look at the scan, OK? We'll be back in a bit.
Do you know what your liver function is like, Sir John?
My liver is good.
Your liver is good, is it?
Yeah. And it's a wine merchant.
Right.
I'm a wine merchant, but I'm not an alcoholic.
Okay. You just merchant the wine.
Yes.
Nice, okay. How much would you drink in a week, would you say?
Here's where the lies come in. Probably drink 3 bottles a week.
Okay. Is that the truth, or do I need to add one?
Depends what I'm doing wine tasting.
Yeah. Okay. I believe your son is coming in. It said he was cycling.
Jonathan, he's my youngest.
Jonathan?
Yeah, my youngest son.
Okay.
I've got 3 sons.
Right, okay.
Only one of John's children was in London when he was rushed to A&E.
I went up to see him, said, "Are you all right?" And he said, "No, I'm feeling a little bit unwell. I'm under the weather. I think I've eaten something or something. I'm feeling a bit sick and something's disagreed with me."
I'm just going to check your blood pressure.
So I rang 111 and a doctor came out to see him, realised that his blood pressure was very low and said, "No, he's not well. We'll call an ambulance."
But he could have ascites if he's got liver disease, because he does like a drink. Well, it's his job, isn't it? Wine merchant, so he buys and sells wine.
What an amazing job. I love that job.
And I want to know what this story is about him being a sir.
Yeah.
I really hope he's a proper sir, a knight.
Not one bought off eBay or Google or something.
I remember a neighbour once saying to me when I was about 4, "What are you going to be when you grow up, Jonathan? What do you want to be?" And I said, "A gentleman like my father."
Are you his son?
Yes, I am, yeah.
I'll let your son stay this side.
Dude, don't worry, pal. You don't need to hold on to this. Just relax. Just lie back. Of course, his hearing aid is not quite right there because he's got the gas. He's got the
mask on. His business acumen was a little bit unusual. When he set up his wine broking company, on his card it actually said, "To be sure of an answer, ring any Wednesday." He would go from London down to, they had a house in Monmouth. They'd go down there on a Thursday, socialise with all their Monmouth friends, and then they would come back on a Monday or possibly a Tuesday. And if things got out of hand, sometimes they didn't quite get back for the Wednesday.
What do you like to be known as? What do you like to be known? Is it John?
Yeah, you don't have to call him Sir John, even though that's his name, but don't bother with that.
That's fine.
Just John. I didn't even know my parents had a title till I was about 14. In fact, there wasn't something which we talked about or mentioned.
Sorry.
My father, although he had a title, he wasn't at all stuck up. He's quite chipper generally. He's normally in a very, very good mood, very jolly. Always happy to have people over. So, you know, he's quite with it intellectually, although he has lapses. Even when my mother died 4 years ago, he was saying, "Jonathan, I wake up every morning and I'm delighted to be alive." I was one of 5 children, the youngest. I was brought up in the countryside in Northamptonshire. We lived in a lovely large Jacobean manor house there with a big garden, plenty of room in the house. I remember kids coming back from the local school coming up to our house and saying, "Cool, it's like a palace here." And the rent was £1 a week. That's all he had to pay for this beautiful house. We had lots of visitors and a rather carefree childhood. It was fun. We all drank wine, and from quite a young age, probably well before we were 8. And my father used to get cider in barrels. I used to regularly have a half a pint before going into school in the morning. I wasn't sloshed or anything, don't worry. I wouldn't have it any more than that, but it would taste quite nice in the morning before you went into school.
Doctors are still trying to find the precise cause of John's pain.
He's come in sort of abdominal pain, acute abdominal pain today. It's very tender and peritonitic all over his abdomen, and he has got free fluid within the abdomen, quite a lot of it on a fast scan.
Are you warm enough? I feel quite cold.
If he'd had an aneurysm that had ruptured enough to give him free fluid, then I would expect him to be sort of totally clapped out. He seems to be holding his own. Could be a pancreatitis, and he's just acute from that.
On holiday.
Are you? I see that on WhatsApp.
Is it? You going to Egypt? I mean, I've been to Egypt. I've been to Cairo.
Yeah.
All in 699.
Each?
2 weeks. Yeah.
That's good. That is really good. Did I tell you, Susan, I booked for a few days to go to Bilbao? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was a total deal. £205 or something. Right. Return on flights, British Airways, and 3 nights in a 5-star hotel.
Sounded fantastic.
It's got a swimming pool on the roof. What else do you want?
Very nice.
Look how excited you're getting.
I love it.
Okay, 1, 2, 1, back.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom.
That way.
Yeah.
Hello, St George's A&E. Is it medical or trauma? Adult female trauma call, 20 minutes.
Emergency services have been called to the scene of a head-on collision involving 2 cars.
They're both RTCs. You're going to be with the more sick one, I presume.
A couple have been cut from the wreckage of one of the cars and are being brought to St George's in separate ambulances.
Got in the car, so just turned down the road. And I bought this top and I was sort of looking at it, and fortunately I had my head down and think, yeah, really pleased with this top. I just heard Mick say, he's going to hit us. Well, I looked up and all I could see coming towards us was this other car. It was getting nearer and nearer. Mick had nowhere to go. All I then felt was an impact.
The one in one is going to be the sicker one. There's trauma, male or female? Bed 4, please.
Yeah. Be on 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. This is a 60-year-old female, name of Linda. She was involved in a head-on RTC and was trapped by a compression. She was a front seat passenger. We have a left chest injury, query fracture with an obvious hematoma. We have a right Colles fracture, a right laceration, query fracture to the tib fin on the right-hand side.
She was front seat passenger.
Whole front of the car compressed in, so engine block into front.
Right, so head-on collision with a van.
Head-on collision with a car going the opposite way.
OK, cool. Thank you very much. Please can you order chest X-ray? With that, we're going to do a CT. Yeah. Just use the ultrasound to scan your chest. OK, it's going to feel a bit cold. All right. There's a big hematoma there. Oh. Quite a big bruise on your chest there. That's what's painful. I think your seatbelt's caused that. There. OK. We'll know more after the X-rays.
Linda's partner is being taken directly from the ambulance to CT to be scanned.
Ready on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Lovely. Leo, are you happy at your end? If we could all listen to handover, please.
This is Mick. He's 68. He's from a high-speed head-on two-vehicle RTC with entrapment for 50 minutes. He's got a closed proximal right humerus fracture, an amputated right thumb. He's got a closed proximal right femur fracture and closed fractures of his right ankle.
The scan will reveal the extent of Mick's internal injuries.
To think that I just left Mick and I was out of the car and he was still trapped in it and being dealt with. But they got me out the way first because he had more serious injuries. They didn't want me to see what he was like.
He hasn't got an obvious head injury.
And it's when you're laying in the ambulance and you're alone and he's not with you, then it hit home that something had happened.
1, 2, 3.
Orthopaedic specialists have been called to assess the extent of his injuries.
It doesn't matter who you speak to, I think they'll always say, you know, we're a good couple. Love is something to be treasured. Love is there for you. You don't want to lose that love.
So they know about Pa, they knew already. They didn't know quite how serious it was, actually.
It's been 40 minutes since John was admitted to St George's with a suspected bleed in his abdomen.
I've got an 89-year-old gentleman who came in with acute abdominal pain. We've done a CT aortogram. He's not got a AAA, so it's not that.
OK. CT for Sir John.
CT doesn't show AAA, so it's referred. There's a lot of gas in the bowel.
OK, so whether he's got an obstruction.
White cell's 24, so yeah.
But no aneurysm.
No aneurysm as far as I can see, yeah.
So you had the CT scan. you haven't got any aneurysm down here, and they're going to look to see whether you might have a blockage around, you know, your bowel or something like that. He didn't look after things like the buildings he lived in. He was hopeless. He didn't do any maintenance or DIY. That wasn't him at all. I mean, really none. I mean, I don't think he could change a plug. And my mother did it all. So my mother was very handy, and so she was the handy man in the house. We would have quite a lot of interesting guests because my father sold wine to Oxford and Cambridge colleges. We'd meet the wine dons, as he called them, the people who were interested in wine from those colleges, and they would come down and sit around the table, philosophers, linguists or something like that. We'd have some lively discussions with them. So that's probably where we got our education. We didn't get much education at school, I don't think, because we didn't turn up half the time. So if you were talking about politics or something, he would be very interested in talking to you, and he wouldn't seem to notice the chaos around him. It was sort of very important to have the conversations. Looking at you now, anybody who didn't know you, they wouldn't know what a long, interesting life you've had. They'll just come past you and they'd think, oh, there's this old chap on a stretcher. They'd have no idea about your life, would they? One of the rituals he did have was that he would always decant very good wine, and making sure that he poured it slowly, very, very slowly into his favourite decanter. The last bit of the sediment would then be put on one side, carefully poured into a glass, smelt, and he'd say, "Good God, this is a delicious glass of wine, and this is just the sediment." He would knock it back with one gulp and say, "Delicious, we're going to love this wine."
John's case has been referred to the surgical team.
I've seen the results of your scan now, and we've discussed what's most likely going on. And it looks like that your bowel has twisted. That's why you're so unwell.
Right.
And that means you would need an operation to fix this.
Right.
It is basically making a big cut in your tummy, and it's very likely we'll have to take a fair bit of your bowel away. It has its own risks, the operation, as it's quite major surgery.
Right.
But if you don't do it, it's likely you may die as a result of this.
I'm afraid it's touch and go. They warned me. Well, I'll ring you in the morning and give you an update, OK?
Couple Mick and Linda have been involved in a head-on collision. They're in A&E in adjacent bays. They've still not seen each other.
This one and bed 8 are both traumas. The bed 8 came in more sick, was the driver. This is the passenger of the car, head-on collision with another vehicle. Engine block protruded into the cabin. She's got what looks like a seatbelt injury, but quite a severe one. She's got a very large hematoma here.
As well as the injury to her chest, Linda has damaged her hand and wrist, but is now stable.
There we go. It's all been cut, so I'm just going to chuck it. Is that all right?
It's the first time I've worn it.
Oh. Oh, dear. Were you going out for dinner, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Back to Portugal.
Yeah.
You paid for my 60th birthday.
Oh, lovely.
Tonight we were going to meet up with people.
Yeah.
See them. From the health of the 60th.
Oh.
We both used to go to a social club. I used to go up there with my daughter, Karen. Mick knew Karen before me. He just said to Karen one day, he said, "Who's that?" She goes, "Oh, that's my mum." He goes, "Oh, that's never your mum. She looks too young to be your mum." Anyway, he came virtually up and said to me, "Can I have a dance?" So I said, "Yeah."
How's Mick doing? Is he all right?
I don't know. I'll go and find out for you.
Just tell him I love him.
I will do.
Over the years, we got to know each other, and we were both in a relationship, and we both decided that we didn't want to be in the relationship that we were in, and we decided that we wanted to be together. We both sort of made a new life for ourselves.
Mick was driving and took the brunt of the impact.
Can you wiggle your toes for me, please? Fantastic, thank you very much.
Doctors are assessing his injuries, which could be life-changing.
Squeeze this muscle here. I know it's painful. Try and bring this leg up in the air for me. Yep.
As well as broken ribs and a shattered foot, Mick has 2 breaks to his right leg.
There is a fracture of the hip and the fracture of the shaft, let's say, of the femur. So for these, definitely we will need an operation, I'm afraid.
You did really well there.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm very impressed, John.
So how did you get your knighthood, John? Do you mind me asking? How did you become a sir?
Well, I'm not a knight. I'm a baronet.
I see.
Earlier this evening, John was admitted with abdominal pains. It's been diagnosed as a twisted bowel and requires surgery.
Understands about that. Hi, Pa, it's Jonathan.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I think what's happened, Pa, is that you've got this twisted gut. This is the problem. This is why you're in pain in your abdominal region. And what the doctors are going to do, with your permission, is to do a little operation on you to try and correct this blockage in your bowel. Did you understand what I was saying, Pa?
Yes.
All right, there's a risk factor to it, but if we don't do the operation, you'll probably die. So,
right.
So we've decided we're going to go ahead with it, okay?
Yes, right. Splendid.
Splendid, that's fine, okay? That's it, that's all.
Yes, excellent.
What do you think his chances are? If I'm being absolutely honest with you,
yeah, go on.
I don't know, but this is really the option. I think if I was in your position, I think this is the completely right decision to make. Yeah. And I think he's got a good quality of life after, so I think you should do everything that you can possibly do.
He's not a miserable sod.
No, indeed.
And also, all the kids are enjoying him. He's enjoying the grandchildren and stuff. It's not like he's somebody who's on his own, lonely, wants to die.
I'm still very young. I'm 23. I haven't experienced what a lot of patients, what a lot of families, or what a lot of colleagues have experienced or perhaps seen. Did you want a cup of tea or anything? What scares me about death is about the feelings that, or the things you'll leave behind and the impact that will have on your relatives.
Oh. Don't worry, Pa. I'm here.
Mick has a fractured hip, a broken femur in his leg, and a shattered foot. He'll require an operation.
Mick, I'm looking after Linda.
Yeah.
She's just wondering how you're doing.
So I'm dancing round the room.
You're dancing? Yeah.
I wish.
She says to say she loves you.
Bless her.
Yeah.
First words he said to me were, "Are you all right, babes? Are you all right?" While he was talking, he did realise that his thumb was hanging off, but he didn't even complain about it. He just carried on talking.
A specialist has come to reattach his severed thumb.
I feel nothing.
That's good.
Do what the cowboys do, giving us like a whiskey and dig the bullet out. I don't think I'm that brave.
I would have screamed if that had been me. If I saw mine hanging there, I would have been... don't know what I would have done.
Đau.
How many fingers have you got now?
9.
9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's not lost, it's still there. You've still got 10 fingers, not 9.
St George's Recess.
What's going on?
We've got a 10-year-old boy, an 8-foot fall from a tree, open left radius and ulnar fracture.
A young boy is travelling from Bushy Park with his mum after a fall during a family picnic.
So fallen from a tree, fractured left radius and ulnar, but fallen 8 foot. I grew up in the countryside, so I was allowed to roam free and climb trees and make dens. I was always the careful one, though. When I was climbing the trees, I had that sort of fear of injuring myself. Touch wood, that sort of protected me from not breaking anything as a child. So I'd like one nurse up this end, and then I'd like everyone else behind the blue line, please. Otherwise, it gets a bit overwhelming.
This is 10-year-old Niall. Niall's had a fall, tree from approximately 8 foot. Significant deformity to the left arm, fractured radius and ulnar.
Okay. Hi, Niall. Do you have any pain in your neck at all, mate?
No.
Good man. It's all the pain, I'm sure.
Shock of left.
Lots of shock, yeah. Put him in a plaster and then send him for an X-ray. And I might try, if he's good on the Entonox, try and straighten it a little bit. It's broken. Like, I know it's broken.
Any parent who has a child who's ever broken a bone has probably heard that scream, and it's very chilling. So I knew that he had definitely broken something just by hearing him scream.
You breathe in and out from your mouth.
Perfect.
That's it.
That's it. Farty noises are good. Like that, that's it. The more farty, the better, really.
He was in shock. He was screaming. He had seen what his arm looked like.
It's hurting you. Okay.
And my instinct is to just hold him forever, and to protect him and keep him safe forever.
Okay.
I've got you. Can you make a little fist for me? Just wiggle your fingers for me. Can you wiggle them? Perfect. We call it a banana arm because it looks like a banana. It's because their bones are so malleable. They're like green sticks, you know, new, fresh branches of trees.
Okay. Breathe. Just breathe for me. It's going to hurt every time it gets moved. It's going to hurt. Okay.
Just that one position there.
If you want to breathe on your gas, then you...
I knew I wanted to be a mum from, I guess, the age of about 16. I'm the eldest of 3 girls, and I spent a lot of time looking after my younger siblings.
So all your nerve endings and stuff and your bones, it's fine.
He's going to need an operation for this to get it fixed, so he'll need to go to theatre for that. Did you want to ask me any questions?
Doctors will need to X-ray Niall's arm to assess the damage to his bones.
So we don't shake hands at this hospital. We fist bump. Can I have a fist bump? Good man. Nice to meet you, Niall, OK? Happy?
Thank you very much.
No problems. It's all right.
In my 20s, I was working in the music industry, having a fabulous time, going to gigs most nights, seeing friends, going to restaurants, going to the award ceremonies, hanging out with superstars.
Oh, you've got a bit more colour in your cheeks now. That's better.
I was young, independent, had a great career, and was having a lot of fun. I think it happened when I hit about 30. I was aware that I did want a family. I was aware that it may take some time, and that it may take some time to find somebody I wanted to have a family with. I did date a few men, and I think I scared them. because I did go straight into one. You know, I would like children, and if you're not interested in having children, there's no point going any further. I was lucky that Glenn did actually want children. I probably would have been with Glenn anyway, I think, and just made him have children. Assuming he could.
John was admitted to St George's earlier. The surgical team are preparing to carry out a life-saving operation on his twisted bowel.
It's a big operation you're going to have, so it's not something to just sort of take lightly. You know, it's not like having a tooth extraction. This is something quite serious, you know. I think you'll pull through okay, but if you didn't, well, you've had a long, very, very successful life, haven't you?
Yes. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. No, I thank you very much, because you're the one who gave me life, not the other way round. You and Ma. He was a big, cuddly sort of man. I always felt when I was a child, putting my arms around him, Daddy, he was massive. He really was massive. My parents gave us a sort of almost ideal childhood, really, and which you never really appreciate until you haven't got it any longer. And we're not talking about material things here. We didn't even go abroad. We didn't dress in smart clothes. We were the last kids to have a television and a telephone and all that. We didn't have any of those stuff, but we did have this feeling that our parents cared about us, you know, which is what a kid needs, and the love, and they gave us all of that in bucketfuls. You'll be all right. You'll be okay.
I'm sure I will. Thank you very much for all you've done for me.
That's okay. I'm glad that I was here, just to be around with you.
The only thing, I suppose, is the truth about the future is that we're all going to die. And we need to be ready for that, because it's going to come to us one day, and we don't know whether that day is going to be this afternoon or tomorrow or in 50 years' time. You know, losing my mum when I was 5, I was exposed to death at a very young age. I was exposed to impermanence at a young age. So I know the things that are around me, you know, they're not going to last forever.
Pa, I'm staying with you until you're taken off. Are you okay? Yeah, you're having a little snooze, that's good. Best thing to do. I'd become a parent myself, you know, struggling, well, I say struggling, bringing up children like anybody else is these days, I suppose. And so I'd become a parent, and I suddenly realised that actually they made the job look easy. Unfortunately, I wrote to my parents 10 years ago, telling them what wonderful parents they were, and I've said everything I needed to say then, so before my mother died, so that was good. I think that's something which I'm so pleased I did do. I don't need to say anything more. There's nothing which I need to, which is unsaid. I've been working in your garden. I've got lovely dirty nails. I've been cutting back some bushes this evening since I was last here, and doing a little bit of work in the garden.
Back in a minute now.
Okay. My neck.
Both bones are broken. It's quite ungulated. That's why it's uncomfortable. And of course, the soft tissues here are now swollen.
It's been 3 hours since Niall broke his arm falling out of a tree. Doctors are going to try and realign the bones.
The easiest thing is to try to very slightly pull the forearm in a better position. It will be tricky, yeah. It shouldn't be excruciating pain. It won't be very painful. It won't be comfortable. You'll feel me pulling. Slow, deep breaths.
Oh, baby, breathe into that. Take a deep breath. Okay, slow down, Angel. I know it now. Is that okay?
Fantastic. Right.
Oh, well done, Angel. Well done. One more breath in of that. Come on, good boy.
It looks much straighter now. It looks improved. That's fine. That's fine. That was really impressive. You've done very well. Probably it was worse than you expected.
What's your favorite colour?
Orange.
In my early 20s, I couldn't see beyond the next day. I think the life I have now is much richer.
Oh, Lord.
Do you like them?
I love spending time with my children, and we do normal things. We live in suburbia and we do normal things. At one point, that was my nightmare. And here I am, living my nightmare and loving it.
Him, Fred.
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 Can't believe you fell out of a tree now.
That's my Linda. She's still there.
She's okay.
Mick and Linda are in adjacent bays, but still haven't seen each other. She's been treated for injuries to her chest, hand and wrist. Mick could face life-changing injuries, but first he'll need several operations to his leg.
Do you want me to take a message from you?
Yeah, what time's breakfast?
What time's breakfast?
Since those sorts of done. I met Linda many years ago in a club in Woking. It was only going to be a piece of fun, but 17 years down the line, we must have done something right somewhere. And we're still together now, and we're still very, very happy. We live in our lovely little mobile home. At the time, I couldn't afford a house, so we picked a mobile home. It's only a small place, but we absolutely love it. They said if she was driving, she wouldn't have made it. Because I was driving, men are a bit stronger built than women.
Mick.
Hello, darling. I wouldn't like to. I wouldn't like to have a life without her. No. That's how close we are. Very close. Very, very close. We can both walk down the road, hold our hands together. That'd be a great day.
Yeah, I think good.
That'd be great. And I won't have a funny shaped thumb anymore either.
And he never regained consciousness after that operation. So when he went to the operating table, as far as I'm concerned, that was it. That's the last time I spoke to my father. To lose him, for it to really dawn on you, is still a shock for a middle-aged person like me to lose your dad. What I would say to anybody is don't wait until it's too late to make declarations to your parents, because you may not be able to say it, later on. And I think that's something which I'm so pleased I did do.
This is Sam, found under the car with his legs back over his head, blocks away off the scoop.
Kept coming on the news that there'd been a motorcycle accident. All of a sudden, my wife came on the phone crying her eyes out saying, "You've got to come home, Sam's been in an accident." And then the penny dropped. What I was listening to on the radio was actually my son.
Not got a good radio, worried about his chest.
Time is absolutely vital. If you don't do something quickly, you're not going to win that one.